Hey, Detoxers. Welcome to another episode of the Disinfo Detox. Today, I am joined by Timothy Karr, the Senior Director of Strategy and Communications for Free Press. Timothy Karr, welcome to the Disinfo Detox.
Thanks for having me, Nolan. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Great to chat with you. And I'll start things off with a question that I think will get to a point of confusion some folks have. Uh, does it frustrate you at all when people mix up free press with the free press? And if so, on a scale of 1 to 10, how frustrating is it?
Well, it's yeah. So, we've been around 20 years longer than they have. We have pride of place, although we can't really claim ownership of the term free press, thank goodness. But yeah, occasionally I do get phone calls from the free press subscribers who are angry because they're not getting their subscription, and I have to inform them that I have nothing. Free press has nothing to do with that organization. So.
Okay, so for listeners out there, these are two different organizations. So, however you feel about the Free Press, that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about a much longer, and I would argue, much more important institution that is Free Press. And so, Tim, for folks who are listening who may not be familiar with Free Press, can you kind of give them a little summary of when did Free Press start, what's its
Sure.
purpose, and what does it do?
So we've been around for more than 20 years. We were really started through the work of the media scholar Bob McChesney, who really analyzed the media system in the United States and found that there was a structural problem, that the way that media policy, or that the media system that we have, is a byproduct of the sort of media policies that we're making, and that the public was not involved in that. And as a result, you had these very large corporations that basically overtook our media system and dictated what people see, read, and hear, and weren't always fulfilling their obligation to be the fourth estate, that is, to be a check against power, because the owners of these massive media conglomerates were the powerful themselves. And so the purpose of Free Press was to re-engage the public in policy debates and in organizing around a free press. And we fought battles over public funding for the media. We fought battles for preserving an open internet, an issue called net neutrality that some of your viewers might be familiar with. And we've been around for 20 years, and we now have 1.4 million members who are ready to pick up their phones and call their members of Congress, or get out into the streets and protest on a lot of these issues.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great organization. I went to, you guys had a conference, I think, in Denver in like 2013-ish, 12-ish. I remember I went to, and it was fabulous to see all the different work the organization is doing and be a part of so many folks who are committed to media. I'm glad to see it continues.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Yes, well, those conferences were a part of our organization for a number of years. We had thousands of people coming to conferences to discuss media policy. It was really eye-opening. A lot of people think that these issues are really arcane and technical and hard to engage with. But we've learned that once people learn about the sort of policy debates around the future of journalism and the future of the media, they get really engaged. And they in fact, like the wonkery. They like talking about Article 2 of the Telecommunications Act, for example, which is the part of the Telecommunications Act that ensures an open internet. So it's been an interesting journey.
Nice. And you guys just recently published a Media Capitulation Index, and I want you to explain that. Well, there's another publication that accompanied it I want to talk about as well, but can you tell us what the Media Capitulation Index is and what it reveals?
Sure. As just after the November election of Donald Trump, we noticed this very unusual thing happening. Some of the most powerful and prominent media owners were sending letters of congratulations to Donald Trump, and people like Jeff Bezos said that he was super excited, his words, to be working with the Trump administration and optimistic about the plan, what's ahead. Mark Zuckerberg really bent over backwards to get in the good graces of Trump. You may recall that Trump said that Zuckerberg should spend his life in prison, but after he was elected. So we saw this happening among the richest media companies. And so we started to investigate. And we found it was just not just Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos who were kowtowing to the new president, but that there was a pattern across all of the largest media companies of capitulation, of caving to the Trump administration. So I looked at the 35 largest media companies, and these are companies that spanned across all media. We're looking at cable and telecom companies. We're looking at broadcasting and entertainment companies like Disney. We were in Sinclair. We were looking at publishers, and we were looking at online platforms. And we found this pattern of capitulation across all media, which presents a fundamental problem to our democracy. It is the media that is supposed to act as the fourth estate. That is a check against abuse by the powerful. They're supposed to speak truth to power. And a lot of these billionaire-owned companies were too intimidated by the Trump administration to fulfill their obligation that's guaranteed by the First Amendment, by the way.
Hey, Detoxers. Hope you enjoyed listening to a portion of that interview. If you want to access the full interview, go to patreon.com/Disinfo Detox. There you can become a paid subscriber and not only get access to this interview, but all the interviews we do here at the Disinfo Detox, as well as early access to content and access to exclusive content. You can get a link to the Disinfo Detox on Patreon by going to the description in this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Keep detoxing.